Hello, everybody. I don't know. This jiggle is just, jiggling me. Anyway, welcome to this episode of Hanging Out with Temi on the show. I've got Heidi Soliman. You know how I like that name. Miss Greatness is not here at the moment. So, welcome to everyone, our viewers. And thank you so much for tuning in every day, every week. I kept on saying every week in and week out. We appreciate you. And we hope you are enjoying our program so far. Last week was extremely beautiful. If you missed that, can you go back on our Facebook? It's there. You can watch it. So you can go on our YouTube page as well to avail yourself to that stuff. However, Heidi, let's talk about you and your week. Your grandma was 100 years old.
Yes, Tony. Yes. She's a beautiful woman, and she's been through a lot of challenges and so many achievements in life. She's got 14. She's got 6 children and 14 grandchildren. I'm one of them, and there is, I think, right now there's 21 great grandchildren.
Oh,
So
wow. Wow, that's
yes,
a large family.
yes.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank
And
you,
she's
thank you.
gotten the letter from the Queen.
Yes, she got a letter from the Queen and a letter from the governor and another one from the Prime Minister as well. So she's got three. Yes.
Wow. Even the Prime Minister.
Yes,
Congratulations.
yeah.
Congratulations, Tata. You're amazing. I didn't even know how to pray for her. She's 100 years old. There are not many of 100 years around. You know that. So she's
Yes,
done so well. And like you said, with everything she's been through in life, she's still standing. And she's still cognitive, isn't she, Heidi?
yes. She is very cognitive. She remembers a lot. Like her long-term memory is amazing. She might forget things from her short-term memory, so she wouldn't remember who came yesterday or what she ate or where who she spoke to, things like that. She remembers a lot about the war because she's been through war, and she remembers a lot about her childhood, and she remembers, her children's childhood. She remembers like her long-term memory is amazing. So when I called her and I was reminding her of things that we've done together
Yes.
as a child, she remembers it. She remembers and she says yes, because I remember her sitting on her sewing machine hours and hours and hours every single day making clothes for poor people. She was,
Wow.
yes, yeah.
Wow. That's where you got your benevolence from, looking after poor people. God bless you, Tata. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for producing out of your product this amazing woman that represents you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you,
Well,
Tammy.
congrats. Yes, let's go. Like I said last week, we talked about our youth, our future, our children, our future. And when we celebrated our powerful 8-year-old Marsha, we love that one and we want them like that.
Yes, exactly.
Also, when we brought Melanie to come and talk to us about, Jasmine, I beg your pardon, who is the regional coordinator of Australian Christian Lobby, telling us about things that are going on. So, yeah, but today, though, is going to be an amazing topic, and we're getting this powerful guy also coming on the show today. I've spoken with Peter before through Heidi a long time ago, but we haven't done much. But I know is from what I heard from Heidi, we're in for a ride today. So don't worry, I'm ready for that. And also, our topic today is about social media. Should I quit social media? Is it affecting us negatively or positively, especially now during COVID 19? That's what the topic is going to be. But I heard that people are in town today as well, rioting. Heidi, did you see them?
Yes, no, I didn't see, but I heard that a lot of people were going out today for a protest. I was personally invited. I did not go. But you know what? It's these protests are happening all around the world. People want to be heard. People want to be seen, and people have opinions about what is happening and all the government decisions. You know, we are the people that are affected with everything. So I think we need to share our voice, we need to share our opinion, and we also need to inform each other, Temi. It is not, we're not living alone in this society. We're all together in this.
Yeah.
And it's so important that when we act together, it's a powerful action. It's not just one person individually doing something. So if I sit here and talk about, you know, how my kids are suffering on my own, you know, I honestly, my kids are suffering, you know, lockdowns and everything. They're not living a normal life. I know that this goes for everyone, but if
But
I
this
sit
is
here
urgent.
and talk about it like that, you know, instead of just me alone, there is thousands, if not millions of other parents that are actually listening to their kids, and they're seeing the impact of everything that is happening on them. And it's not very nice.
It's not very nice. It's really, really hard. And I think the younger one, especially, they're too young to start to experience this. I got out of my house today. The whole place looked like a ghost den. It just looks like there wasn't any life anywhere. Like this,
Yeah.
it's mind blowing. There's more to it that we can ever explain. I don't know
Yeah.
what it is, but there's more, and it's just crazy. Shepperton, the countryside, now they said they're closing down. They got like, I don't know, 21 people affected, and the chemists, the mall, everywhere is shut down. So it looks like you're shutting things down, you're shutting people's lives down too. It's really hard. Um,
Mm.
Nobody knows the answer to it, but one thing I know is, Heidi, this COVID is not going anywhere. We know it's the virus is going to be in our environment. It's here to stay, and I think we just have to find a wise way of managing it. You know,
Yes.
we're not counting how many people are dying as the effect of the COVID. One of my friends was talking today, and she said after she took her vaccine, she thought she was going to die. She was sick, she was in the hospital. She was lying that she was going to die. And how many people this is affected like this? So we don't know whether it's the vaccine that is killing, whether it's the COVID itself, whether it's the effect of the COVID itself. So people, we need to know how to manage this, and people need to speak. You're right,
That's
I.
it.
We
That's
need
it.
to talk, because if you
Yeah.
don't talk, then we don't know how this is affecting you. Why would you just be painstaking? We've taken the vaccine. I've taken my first dose, second dose, but I mean, it's the same people. Like, I can't breathe. I have to use mask. I can't go to this. I can My fear though now is, if they're still gonna extend, if they're
Oh,
gonna
yeah. Let's not speak life into it, and let's get to the show.
okay. I hope it's not extended, but let's go to the show. We're
Yes.
gonna go on a quick break. When we start, we have to banter, we have to talk. And if there's anything, let me see if there's somebody wants to say something to us. Mercy. Oh, very true. Thank you, Mercy. Agreeing with us. Hannah said we need to trust God and not the vaccines. True.
Yes.
When I took my vaccine, I'm like, blood of Jesus. One lady at my church took the vaccine and she nearly died, and stayed at the ICU, and she nearly died. So, really, Mercy says, I'm in South Africa and I know some people take it and now they are, oh dear.
Yes.
Sorry, Mercy. We need to trust God no matter what. Uh, Thank you so much for those comments. Anna saying we trust God, and Mercy say what we need is God. Okay, we know that's what we need. Thank you so much, guys, for contributing. We're gonna go on a quick break, and we're gonna start today's topic. And I've got something about South Africa actually that I want to share. Go on a quick break.
Temi, before we go on the break, can you tell us about this amazing news of going to Channel 31?
I'll tell you when I come back.
Okay.
Welcome back on the show. Once again, please go to the Facebook, share us, and like us. And also on the YouTube, subscribe and press that button that I like so much. Yes, please like us, subscribe, and comment. That's the way. Thank you as you do that. God bless you, Heidi. Thank you for reminding. I didn't forget. I think I'm excited. So, guys, there's a
Yay!
breaking news right now. We're now going to be showing on channel 31 Melbourne Australian TV channel. Actually, from this coming Monday, 2 days time, 12:30 p.m. So just go on Google Chrome, go on internet and just search C31 and then look at the programs, and we'll be live, I'll be live by 12:30 this coming Monday. So every Monday we're going to be showing on channel 31. Exciting news. Guys, about 3 years ago, in fact, what they're going to be showing is probably going to be 3 years ago video that I sent to them. I think that's what it is. So we did inquire to go on this channel 3 years ago, and they told us, you go play, you're gonna do 1 or 2 shows and you're not gonna feature again. And I said, no, this is really futuristic, talk of future. Yeah, and they weren't getting back to us. They said no. In that time, they changed so many managers from there. So I just left them alone. I'm like, I can't be bothered. But I think it was you, Heidi, that raised it, that we need to go on the TV. And I said, okay, I will visit it again because I did it a couple of years ago. So I visited these people again this year. And then they told me, breaking news indeed. Yes, bless you and me. And so I contacted them about 4 months ago, and they said, okay, re-forward me the pilot again, which I did. I think this was with Sumaya, if I'm not wrong. And so forward it to me again. So I did that, and then I didn't get anything, believe it or not. And guess what? On my birthday, on the 17th of August, on my birthday, woke up from bed. It was about 9 o'clock. I was still, splendoring. And then the phone rang. When would you like to start your show on the TV? I'm like, is this a prank or what?
Yay!
And Audrey, beautiful, beautiful Audrey, thank you so, so much. Audrey said, no, you're ready, you're good. I saw the pilot you sent, and we're ready to go. So they're going to send that old pilot, and they haven't seen this yet. I don't think they see that we've advanced, we've gone past, them.
Yay!
Yes, exactly. So that's what they're going to show on Monday, 12:30. Please check in so they know that we have people. You know, we do have people. So please check in. I also want to thank people for my birthday, man. Thank you so much for everybody, for your prayers, for your gift, for your phone call. It was amazing. I'm like, every year is the same, it's just better and better. I don't know that I'm that much loved. Maybe I do know, but anyway,
Yes, you do.
you surprise me every year. That is your flower idea. I brought your flower. That's the flower you
Oh,
guys got.
thank you. That's
Thank you so
lovely.
much. I appreciate it. In fact, I was blown away with the love. I'm like, what? And so, can I say also, someone said they thought I'm going to come live on my birthday, but the love was so much. It was too. I'm like, if I go live, it's just going to go crazy. It's already crazy. Let me just lie down in bed. That's why. But thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I was blown away. The love was so much. So thank you so very much. I appreciate you, ID, as well. Thank
Thank you.
you. So it's a breaking news. There you go. Channel 31. You see us. So every week we're going to be going there live there. Monday, why we're still gonna maintain our Saturdays. So the logistics, we're still having a planning around how it's gonna do, but we're not gonna let you down on Facebook or YouTube either. But on Mondays at your leisure, you can watch that as well. So today we're gonna be having a guest on, Peter. So sit back. Peter is amazing, according to Heidi. Uh, I've, I've met Peter before a couple of months ago now for a business venture. but I have not really done anything much with Peter. But today he's coming on the show and I cannot wait. Heidi, while we're waiting on Peter, have you got something that you want to share with the
Yes.
audience?
So I just wanted to ask you, what is happening with the camp? Are we going to wait to see what happens?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for that. For the people that are going on the Intrepid Women Camp with us, uh, everybody, they already paid and everyone is looking forward to it. Everything is done, everything is set. And it's meant to be from the 10th to the 12th, as you know, September. But the way it is now, if ID says the lockdown is going to be extended, then we've spoken to the campers, the camp people, and they said they're going to, we can choose another day, maybe early December or something. We're not going to lose our money, but they're not giving us the money back anyway. But we're not going to lose the money. It's still going to run. So by 2nd of September, all things being equal, if this is
Yes.
extended, then we will send email out to everyone that is paid to
Yeah.
let them know that the next date that is being chosen. That is what
Okay,
is
great. Thank
for
you.
the. And I need to use this space as well to thank people that have supported us. The support, Heidi, it was
Yes.
mind, it was mind blowing. Rotary Club Brunswick to La Marine, they're sponsoring us. Windham City Council are sponsoring us. Mega Lines is sponsoring us. Testra is sponsoring us.
Oh, great.
And then all these people, like, they were coming on my birthday. They were just, it's like, it's meant to be. So thank you so much. It's gonna be beautiful. So it doesn't matter when we postpone it to, we're still gonna have the fun. But be patient. And while we're on that, I said last week that this time I'm very antsy because of this lockdown, because we got a couple of people too. They postponed their parties like 3 times.
Yeah.
These people, there are one of my friends turned 60 and the children are planning. I hope I'm not letting the cat. I hope she won't know she's the one. Anyway, they're planning something for her. They've been postponing, and I'm planning with them, and then they postpone, and so I think everybody is in the same pickle, but we just have to, like people have been saying to us, we have to just find God and find solace, and that's the only way we can manage this time. That is it from us. We're gonna go on a quick break, and by the time we come back, we should have Peter to come and talk to us how he's feeling in this season as well, and what we've got for today. Okay, we'll be back. Welcome to Hanging Out with Temi. Temi Ajayi here. Heidi Solomon. There is our Peter. Good to see you, Peter.
Hello, beautiful ladies. Thank you so much for having me. Temi, happy birthday from me. Another one, a big happy birthday. Congratulations to you and on your amazing show. I love the studio. Oh, my goodness. Heidi, happy birthday to your grandma as well.
Thank you.
I love that pose. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
How are you, ladies?
Thank you so much. I saw your comment as well. I'm like, oh, Peter is on the room.
Did you? Okay, that's good. Yeah, congratulations. How is everybody?
I got a bit about you, Peter, that I was going to talk about. Conscious entrepreneur, futuristic, and your first digital marketing was at age 17. I'm like, this guy is a bit weird. Please, what is conscious entrepreneur means, please? I need to check. Are some people unconscious?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's definitely a thing. So if you've heard of social entrepreneurship, it's kind of similar. But I mean, essentially, we're just talking about consciousness. So when we talk about consciousness, it's an individual's awareness of themselves, so being self-aware, and also how themselves actually fit into whatever part of society that they're meant to be working in and embarking on the mission on. and then solving problems accordingly. So it's just more about being more of the change essentially and creating an impact that way, as your business is essentially an extension of you and your mission essentially, as opposed to the traditional type of business enterprise that we would see that would typically put things like revenue first before their own people and so on. And so we take a different approach with conscious entrepreneurship in that sense.
Wow, I like what you said. To be conscious and to be present in the space that you're called, and you're talking about to be connect and to be like a giver and to bless your surrounding. I like that, and to know exactly where you belong, because I tell you what, we were talking last week when we did about our children, our future. We were talking last week about Heidi going to feed the poor, and I say, I mean, homeless, and I see Heidi like 110%. She's excited, she's passionate about it. I'm passionate about it, but I've got some questions. She's got no question. You know what I mean? She's got
What are
that
your
is
questions? I love that.
I've got questions about that, but Heidi just she's crazy about it. But if you ask me about disability, I've got no question. Mental health, I've got no question about that. So it's good to be conscious and to know
Yes.
where, and not about the money figure, like you said. It's about what life you're touching. You already got me, man.
All right.
You already got me there. But thank you so much. Is there anything you want the viewers to know about you before we even get into this? I know you have the critique. Is it critic?
Yeah, Creatic. Yep, you nailed it. So
Well
it's
done.
a yeah, it's a digital marketing agency. We specifically work with conscious entrepreneurs, and essentially working to find out, help them to align themselves to their mission if they're not already, and then essentially we just amplify those missions using our suite of marketing software called Amplify, which we're just about to launch. But yeah, I guess something about me is I'm obviously a conscious entrepreneur myself. I started my journey by creating websites when I was about 17 years old, not knowing where it was going to land me. But I mean, I think my mom and my dad for that journey, because they gave me my first computer. My mom was just saying, you know, Peter, you need to get into computers because it's the future. And not even knowing about what the internet was or anything. We didn't have it back then, showing my age here a little bit. But I took a fascination to it straight away, and I would not leave my bedroom because I was just fascinated by the computer, especially when internet did come online. And essentially, I just formed my path by using the internet and just constantly exploring. I think the best way for me to learn was at least websites was by I would take them apart and then put them back together again, just to understand how they worked, because
Wow.
there wasn't a web development type of course or school back then. This is back around, I guess, 1997, around that mark.
You look
So
very young.
self-taught.
What the? You look too
Yeah.
young to be talking like this. You-
That was still a while ago. It's a couple of decades ago now. I think coming up on 2 decades soon. But
well,
yeah, eventually I migrated here to Australia to set up an agency after my corporate career and my hunger for freedom and for wanting to create change and make an impact. I went through my own awakening to realize that there is such thing as consciousness, and we are more than just our bodies, and we exist on multiple dimensions and multiple levels. And after I had that discovery, it was probably about a couple years after that was when I started then to align my business creative along with that path. And it's just been so fulfilling ever since, especially to connect with people like Heidi and also to you now, Temi, as well, because obviously you're both very purpose driven and you have your missions as well. So
do
yeah, I definitely feel at home.
we
Thank
do we do
you.
have. Thank you so much, Peter. That's excellent. So you migrated to Australia by yourself on your own?
I did, yes, with my partner at the time. So it was love that brought me here initially. Unfortunately, or fortunately, you know, I learned very quickly not to mix relationships and love relationships and business partnerships unless you really lay out things such as just organizing your roles and having agreements in place. But we were just young and naive and wanting just to create and experience But eventually the relationship broke down. We're so amicable. I ended up taking back the shares for the company, and then I just continued with it. But it was only meant to be a 2-year stint. It ended up being close to 15 years now, just because I settled in Australia pretty well. But I do get home whenever I can. Not in the last couple of years, obviously, because of the situations, but like everybody else. But I'm looking forward to getting back as soon as possible. So it's just me now, along with my friends and my extended family, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Well done, Peter. I've got one more question before we go to today's topic. I saw your platform and I saw the picture of Jesus there. What's that about? Do you know him, or
Which
do you
one was
like him,
that?
or do you want to kill him again, second time? What is it about?
Did you say Jesus on my platform?
Yeah,
Where was this at?
on your Facebook page.
Jesus was on my platform.
Mhm.
Um,
A picture. Maybe you don't even know who he was. There's a picture there that looks like a picture of Jesus Christ.
oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I have no idea what photo that was. I thought maybe you might have been talking about my cover photo there, but I mean that is basically my sort of goal and destination of where we're working to, which is like a distributed, decentralized, open source, free, not free, but I guess a more properly democratic society eventually, especially technology wise. But as far as a Jesus photo, I can't think of which one that might have been.
All
But
right.
I
Don't
grew up
worry.
Catholic. I left the Catholic Church, I think, about when I was 18, and I just took a different path. I still definitely respect religions and the people who follow those, but I myself I don't consider myself as a practicing Catholic, at least.
At least you're being honest. Thank you so much for that. You know who you are, you're conscious. But anyway, Peter, when people come on our show, sometimes we forget to play our jiggle for them, but we're going to
Okay.
play it for you right now. So sit back and you are just jiggle.
Okay.
Welcome back on Hanging Out with Temi. Peter, did you like that?
That was beautiful. I'm just really impressed by your whole studio setup. Did you do it yourself? You're gonna put me out of business, I think, Temi.
That would be right. That would be obviously right. But thank you everybody for tuning in. We've got Peter Venero on the show today, and of course, is an IT guru, and is the right person to bring on the show today to talk to us about social media. A lot of times, people make me even feel bad that social media is bad and everything. But we know that now is an integral part of our life, as you know. And, you know, but I don't know if it's affecting us with the lockdown mentally, if we're isolated or if we're, um, like too fixated on something, or is it good with the connection that, like in my church, for example, we used to be 800 people in the church. Now that we're on the social media, we have 20,000 and 40,000 people connecting and they're getting blessed from it. So the question is, should we quit social media because now they say we're zoning out because of it? And when Heidi said Peter is the man, I'm like, oh, bring Peter on. So please tell us, what should we do? What is social media, by the way? Because I think some of us don't actually get it right. Because people say, I'm not on Facebook, but I'm on, Twitter, for example. And I thought, and they all social media? And someone told me that WhatsApp, it's owned by Facebook, by the way. And so if you're on WhatsApp, just consider yourself your own social media. But is this true? Please explain to us, what is social media, Peter? Because we need to
Yeah,
learn.
sure. Well, thanks, first of all, for having me on the show to be able to speak about this topic. I'm not sure if I'm the actual guru, but I've certainly grown up with social media, and it's become an integral part of my my life and my business. So yeah, what is social media? When I was going to school, social media was not out at that time. I was studying something called new media, and it's essentially the same thing. Social media is just, in a sense, the platforms that are provided for us to be able to be social. So that's across all the various platforms. You know, the most notable ones, obviously, Facebook, Twitter. There's, you know, video, YouTube. Now TikTok has come into the show as well with their videos for, well, their video technology. They're more targeting a different demographic. And as advanced as it all seems, all of these platforms at their current state, I think the most fascinating thing is that they're still at their infancy. And I think that there's going to be a lot more evolution as far as the technology itself, as well as the stakeholders, such as the owners of the platforms,
Right.
and of course the people as well. And I think a big part of that, what's actually driving that evolution, is, as we were speaking about, consciousness itself. The more that people actually become aware, and it's really funny because I can see sort of like I guess I can see the level of consciousness has increased now compared to when it was just starting out. And I'm talking about a long time ago, like maybe 12, 15 years ago, when this was still MySpace and I was
Yeah,
on Friendster. And I don't know if you remember any of
I
those.
remember that one. Yes.
They were so innocent. I really miss those days. They weren't as political and divisive as they are now. But I think what's happened, at least from what I can see, is that as more and more people signed on online, they were able to connect with each other and exchange information, exchange ideas, and have dialogue. And as that happens, then awareness actually grows. And the more that that actually happens, I can see that the evolution of the technology itself is going to have a completely different form. I think very soon, within the next decade or so. I'm excited about where that's going. I only can surmise and kind of just picture where that's actually heading based on current trends. It's called Internet 3.0 and the blockchain. I can speak on that later if you like. But it looks like the way things are headed, it's going to be good news ultimately.
Oh, it's gonna be good
Okay.
news. Okay.
I think better news. I think better news. It's kind of a double-edged sword at the moment because social media in itself, as you were talking about earlier on the pre-show, it's obviously it can be very divisive. It
Mhm.
can be censored. You know, Heidi was also talking about the not being able to speak if you need to speak, and obviously that's a problem. And on the other side, it allows us to connect. I'm here and I'm able to connect with you, beautiful ladies. I can easily just Zoom my parents back home, or we do FaceTime back in Colorado and connect. And so there really is a double-edged sword. Um, but I think that as we progress as a human and as a race, we have to look at the long-term effects. And by looking at what is happening right now with the amount of censorship that's happening and
Mm.
people being thrown off of networks and things being deleted, then it's obviously something that if it's not dealt with now, it will definitely be an issue in the future. My personal, I guess we can call inspired mission includes of being able to contribute to the movement to the next version of the internet, which is that Internet 3.0. If you've heard of cryptocurrencies like
Yeah.
yeah, you've heard of cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin, of course, is one of the major players. They all exist on one platform called the blockchain, and essentially the
Yeah.
blockchain is that
Mm.
that Internet 3.0. Are you across that?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very savvy. Well done. Well, what I
Yeah.
can see is a lot of the social media is eventually being put onto there because when you have a decentralized institution, it would be just ultimately it's going to be more of a naturally more democratic run type of entity, and I
You're
would love to
speaking
see
you're
also.
speaking the language that I don't you're losing me. So are you saying this social media is gonna get really political? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I think that it's already, from what I can see, I can sense that it already has become political. I think that there's a divide that's taking place within a conversation online in general across the major networks like Facebook and especially on Twitter. And so that divide is actually political in nature itself, in a sense, because I guess you could look at it as when there is certain topics that are being censored, and I also want to be mindful to your channel here because I don't want to get your show in trouble. But when there is censorship and then there is the stifling of conversation, I think we enter a very dangerous territory, and I think that's where we
Yes.
are right now.
That's right. That's true.
Yeah, that is true. I remember a couple of years ago, I started posting on Facebook. It's the only platform I use, and then I started posting on Facebook about how I was, under medication from the medical system for a very long time, taking so many types of drugs, and I was able to turn my health around using no drugs whatsoever. So I was just throwing out the question, how many cancer patients are out there right now taking chemotherapy, killing their very healthy cells, just
Right.
because a doctor told them that. So I spoke about cancer, and then at that time I also had a patient with cancer that I helped heal. And then I spoke about other diseases, and then all of a sudden I'm looking at my posts and my lives.
God.
No one is seeing them. No
Yeah.
one is seeing them. And then I looked through my daughter's devices,
Mm.
and then they're not seeing they're not showing.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
So
called a shadow ban. So when there's certain topics that they're not wanting, the owners of the social media platforms are not wanting to give awareness to, then they'll flag a certain channel. I'm certainly flagged on my own Facebook. I can tell there. So the reach has declined massively over the last number of years. But what they do is they implement something called a shadow ban, and that's what
Wow.
that happens there.
yeah,
But
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
I
We
think
gotta be very careful. We don't want them. Don't you block us, okay? We're just speaking honestly and respectfully. So we're
yeah,
not saying anything that is damaging. We're just chatting. So Facebook, you keep us on, okay? But Peter, I'm gonna go on a quick break, and I want to put a spell on the issue of social media because we actually honestly need to uh, project things that is valuable, that is reasonable, and that is safe to the community. So we'll go on a quick break and we'll be back. Welcome again on Hanging Out with Temi. We're still talking about social media and the fact that maybe it's damaging, maybe it's educative and it's entertaining and it's reassuring. We're connecting on it. What do you think social media is, and how is it implementing, or as we say, is it serving you or isn't it serving you? On the show, we got Peter Venero, like conscious entrepreneur and futuristic. I just like all those things of block digital marketing. It's valid and it's legal and he's doing his hard job and he's doing okay. We're putting endorsement on Peter right there. But anyway, how is he doing? I want to talk to you, Peter, about social media. We know, especially with the youth, how some people have used social media to bully and it's affecting people have lost their lives even in this space, and I think because of that, some family members that are directly impacted by the effect of this, harshness on social media, they might put it down and stuff like that. So what has been your experience? Do you know anything about this one, and how can people, because for me, I don't think you can even say anything to me if I don't want to give the answer or my own opinion in this space, but I'm just feeling for the people that have been affected in terms of social media bullying, cyberbullying, yeah.
Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah. So regarding cyberbullying, did you want to know what was the actual question? I'm sorry.
Like the people that are affected about this, they might say something badly about the social media. I'm thinking, could that be one of the reasons why people are quitting it, because people are negative on it?
Ah, right. Yeah, sure. No, it's definitely an issue. Bullying and cyberbullying. Um, there has been just an enormous amount of people that have been just making their ways off of certain channels because of the bullying and the cyberbullying that takes place. Because at the end of the day, you'll have a lot of very brave people, and I've been guilty of it as well. Just being a keyboard warrior, essentially, and saying things to people that you would never say to them to their face. And I think I made a pact with myself a number of years ago, where I noticed that it was really becoming quite an issue. And I said to myself that I'm not going to type anything that I would not say to myself to that actual person.
Mm.
And so I think these are all very personal. These are all very personal decisions as to whether we want to continue to engage on social media. As you said, there's so many different uses for it that we can go on there into a very fascinating group and become educated on topics that are very enlightening to us. Or we can go into the political sphere and into the deep, dark corners of the web, which I'm no stranger of, just to see what's happening there. And I think it really is what you make of it. And I think that I think everybody's on their journey, I guess we could say, within their own social media experience.
Ethics.
Mm. What do you think about addiction, Peter?
Social media addiction.
Yes. What do you think about that? Because as a mother, I know that you don't have children yourself, but as a mother, I needed to regulate the use of the phone and definitely social media.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I didn't really understand. I didn't understand that it would be a thing until Steve Jobs. He was still alive at the time, and he had just come out with the iPad, the amazing device, and I just was so excited. I couldn't wait to get my hands onto it. And then I remember reading somewhere that said that he was actually not going to be allowing his children to use the iPad, and I was like, that be? And I was like, that is so, like, that's his product, that's his invention. And the more I researched, the more I understood that, yeah, there's obviously a chemical response that happens within the brain, because we love that dopamine fix. And there's nothing more that produces dopamine. Well, there might be, but I mean, as easily as social media, when we put a post out or a photo of us out, and we're getting these hearts and likes and comments, and to be able to see these come through, they're just constant dopamine hits from that. Obviously, as I'm not a parent, and I can't tell parents what to do, but if I did have children, what I would do was I would definitely at least provide structure around it, because at the end of the day, it is the parent's responsibility, I feel, to make sure that our children are brought up with the best examples and the best structure to understand how things work. And I don't think a lot of parents knew how addictive something like social media could be, especially when you have different types of computer scientists and psychologists who do understand this, who work for the social media companies, who deliberately create features within the social media to make it very much addictive. We know this now, and I think that we can now take the responsibility in order to at least just practice a habit of just not having to pick up the phone first thing in the morning, for example, or having some time off from the internet just in general, at least once a week for like 4 hours a day. It's amazing because I didn't even realize that I had an addiction, and I can admit that I do have an addiction as well, because there's not a day that goes by where I don't look at my phone or I don't look at my my iPad. But I did realize that that was the case, and I made changes in my own self to make sure that I'm not doing certain things first thing in the morning, and that I have a different type of ritual in the evening to make sure that I limit that as well. So addiction is certainly an issue and a factor, I believe, but I think that now we're all becoming aware of that, and now we can just become mindful on how we take actions around that.
Yeah, I definitely do that kind of detox, and I feel like, I feel it in my body when I know that it's time to stop Facebook for a week, and then I would not touch it. Yeah, I would not touch it for a week, and then I would go and then start using it like little bit and bit by every day, because I noticed that because as I run my business from my phone, I get to hold my phone a lot, but I need to stop myself from going to these apps. Okay, if I don't use them, I don't need them, I don't use them. But thing is, we are creatures of habit. And what we tend to do is that I see parents, not just children, I see parents have addictions. They cannot stop looking at their phones. If you're not looking at a message, and if not looking at something that is serious, like an email or something, what are you doing on your phone? Why aren't you talking to the person next to you? He's your kid, or she's your kid, or wife or husband. Why aren't you socializing properly? And then comes the social media. Is it really social?
Very good point. Very good point.
I like that.
And I'm also guilty of that myself, I have to admit, because sometimes it's just the easiest thing to do. For example, instead of speaking to a stranger outside, I can very easily just pick up my phone and distract myself there while I'm waiting for my coffee, for example. So is it actually social? I guess it depends on who you ask and what they're actually doing, but for the most part, I would say not really. And I'm obviously kind of shooting myself in the foot here, given that my business operates and relies on social media. But we do have to be honest with ourselves about the impact that it's having on not just ourselves, but obviously on the greater society as well, and where we're actually going as a species. So yeah, there's definitely some mindfulness that needs to take place.
That's right. So there's pros and there's cons when we
Exactly.
talk about social media. Because Heidi, sorry, I was gonna share something with everyone. There was an incident of a child that was playing on the computer, and the father is like, "You've been playing all day. Are you gonna get up? Are you gonna do something?" And he says, "Please just leave me alone. Shut the door." The father went back in and pulled the cord out of the wall and said, "No, you need to stop." And guess what? He bashed the father and he died. The father died in the process. So, like you said, we need to know how to manage our kid, even from little, before when they're very young, because before it becomes an addiction. If they're using that productively for their schoolwork, or you have a time frame on how many minutes you have to be on the thing to play. But when they're becoming addicted, like if you tell them, "Can I use my laptop or iPad, for example," and the kids throw it, or the kids misbehave, then you know that they're getting crazy. Now they're getting addicted. It's my iPad. I'm giving you for 5 minutes. If I want it back, you don't throw tantrum. Be able to curb them when they're little. So I know that these sort of things are there every day with social media. But I want to ask something, because I saw somebody the other day that was saying, "I'll quit social media. I'm not on social media, and on Facebook, but I've got the WhatsApp and I've got Twitter." I'm thinking, is this person conscious? Is this still not the same social media? I said, I'm going to ask Peter when Peter comes. Is it me that is not conscious or what? you
I
know?
think certainly conscious. Those are definitely social media apps. Um, Facebook, as you mentioned, does own WhatsApp, and then now they're getting into a variety of other different business extensions like virtual reality and video games there. And there's a social.
We lost Peter.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's frozen.
Oops.
Are you right, Peter? We can't get you.
He's gonna log back in.
Yes,
Oh,
it's in.
he's here.
Sorry about that. I could hear you. I guess I bleeped out a little bit. Did I?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can hear me okay now?
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Alrighty. So the social media landscape is going beyond just the traditional Facebooks into realms like virtual reality, where that's also social gaming, by Facebook's Oculus and a couple other competitors, and then even just beyond Facebook, of course, going into the more investment side of things with the stock market. There's a new app that had come out, and I was actually fascinated by it. But this was social investing. There's an app called Public. And so it's almost like a Twitter in a sense. It's kind of set up as Twitter, but all they're doing is talking about the investments that they're making. You can follow each other to find out who's investing in what, and then have that social dynamic there. So certainly, yeah, social media goes beyond just Facebook, of course. I mean, Facebook is only just an advanced adaptation of the original MySpace. They just saw the opportunity, found the money, and just ran with it essentially. But I mean, social media's been around for a long time, and I think we're still at the infancy.
Okay, so we're gonna go on a quick break, and I want to talk about FOMO. I heard about this FOMO and all that, and you're gonna talk to us a little bit about it. We're gonna go on a break, and we'll be back. Welcome back on the show. Thank you for watching, everyone. And I hope you have subscribed and you have liked us and you have shared us. I'm believing you're doing that. Somebody said, and like, and what's that one called?
The thumbs
Like.
up, the likes, definitely. I put likes all over your channels.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Somebody was talking to me the other day and he says, there are some spies. They're like parasites. They're hiding somewhere and they're peeping. And they forgot that the same amount of money that they're peeping with is the same amount of money they're going to pay if they watch us. So don't peep, don't spy. Just come on, you're paying the same money anyway and the same attention. But anyway, that's just being cheeky. We're talking about social media, and we're talking about the pros and cons, and I actually want us to wrap it, to put it to the end, because I don't think we can say absolutely is bad or absolutely is good, but we just want to advise each other about what we could do to make social media worthwhile for you. And I know that I've been hearing something about FOMO, fear of missing out, and all that. What are you selling on the social media that you're missing out on? What are you selling? And what is this FOMO thing? You know about that, of course, Peter. Yeah, FOMO.
Mhm. Yeah, if you're missing out,
Yeah.
absolutely.
You see, so that is ID. You know that one, FOMO.
Yes.
Crazy. What are you missing out on? Are you selling something that you're not? I mean, I'm selling something and I sell things on social media. And I think I'm like you, Peter. I'm futuristic. If I listen to the people, they were telling me when I was 40 years that I'm 54. Okay, what are you doing on social media? You're 40 years old. None of your Thank God I didn't listen to them because I know that I'm addicted to it, guilty, as charged. I'm not addicted, but I'm always looking for a way to share information. And I
Yeah.
discovered at the time I was sharing, I was counseling, as a marriage counselor, I was counseling one marriage and one. I'm thinking there's so much issues, or maybe helping with the children. So I've been looking for a platform where we can reach many people at the same time, rather than me spending 10 hours with one person, 20 hours. I can use an hour and I can pass that information and everyone can get it. So that's what I've been looking for all this time. Not that I want to be on social media, but I know that issues of low self-esteem, mood, even maybe anorexic, a lot of things can be associated with this social media, because you can be glued to it. You can even be an angry person because you're enjoying this program. You're always there for 10 hours. If somebody comes and interrupts you, you get really angry. That is when you're crossing you're crossing the line. And so we need to be very mindful. Or husband and wife go out for lunch. Uh, you're at the restaurant, and then your partner is on the phone all through the time, or you go out with your mates and your one person is just there's a whole lot of antisocial behavior that could be attached to this social media. But I want us to round it up. How do you make suggestion for people to use it? And by the way, Peter, do you agree that social media is a thing and we don't all need to quit it according to what we say? Or do you think we should quit it? I don't know. I'm just.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely not going to say I think we all should quit it, because then I definitely would be shooting myself in the foot. No, but honestly speaking, I don't think that we should quit it. I think that we just have to be more mindful about where it's going. The points that you brought up about FOMO, that's definitely a thing. I think that comes down to, once again, self-awareness and individuals having to know that ultimately they can do anything that they want. They don't have to feel like they're going to be missing out on everything. It's just really about being present, and leveraging social media to connect with like minds. That would be maybe somewhere to start. And even with the extra polishing that many of us do on social media, we give the impression that we're showing the sides that we want everybody to know us for. We're very, very reluctant to share our vulnerabilities, but I know that many of us do, and we're starting to do that, and I think that's a healthy thing. But as far as where social media is actually going, I think that we have to be mindful of where we are right now, when we have individuals like private companies who are dictating what can be said on their networks. Granted, it is their networks, and that's a very important point. And so there are community guidelines that we all need to abide by. But I think social media, with these platforms in particular, such as YouTube and Facebook and Twitter, they become so massive that they become more than just a private company. They become now what's almost like a public utility. Back in the 18th century, 19th century, it was the same with the trains. People were riding the trains, but they were privately owned. Eventually, those had to be brought into government care and converted to a utility. And so I think that's one opportunity that we can have with just by virtue of the blockchain, moving technology onto it. And I think even the same with governments. Eventually, we're going to have to move governments onto the blockchain as well, because there's special interests that can really get into anywhere. They're not just in corporations that run social media or in pharmaceutical companies. They're also within government themselves. So if we realize that, then we have to just start to take action by being mindful about where we're going and start to choose the opportunities that can bring us that open source opportunities. It's going to take some time, but I mean, the promising thing now is that we do have options.
Go ahead, Heidi.
Yeah, I think that there is so much to social media, and I've had the awareness that sometimes I overuse it, and sometimes I cross my boundaries that I set for myself sometimes. And I've learned that the magic word is consciousness. So the more conscious I am of my actions, as soon as I see myself doing something on autopilot, like I reach out for my phone and I go press the Facebook icon, as soon as I do that, just automatically, I go, oh, okay, well, just take a deep breath and remember that you just did this, okay? And then remind yourself again, when are you going to do this again? Are you going to do it in the next half an hour? Or are you going to do it in the next 10 minutes? Are you going to watch how many numbers come up? Or what are you going to do? Why are you doing that? I ask myself the question, why? Why do you do this? Can you stop doing this for, a couple of days and not feel the FOMO? Okay, if you're okay with that, then it's not autopilot, then you're okay, you're good. But if it is, then you need to do something about it, because that means you're doing it unconsciously. And, I've decided to live a very conscious life, and I watch the words that come out of my mouth. I guard my mouth. And then I watch the ideas and the thoughts that are in my head, and I guard that as well. So what is happening with my phone? What is happening with my social media? I need to examine that. So this is why I do these detoxes. And then I do it with the girls as well, because as a mother of two, teenagers, I need to be very mindful of what I teach and what I preach and what I, role model for. So it's important that, we are very conscious, and, we do the right thing that will serve us, that will empower us.
What a beautiful role model. Well done. And how do you feel during those just 5-day detox stints that you do?
Oh, amazing. So I actually, the person that actually brought this into my attention was my coach. He said to me, you need to have a week off. Okay. And when he said that, do you remember? Yeah. So I said, well, I go on Facebook, and then there's people are talking about stuff, and I answer questions, and then he goes, no Facebook. Yeah. And then no work, no Facebook. And then I went, oh, okay, well, let's try that. I'm good. I'm up for the challenge. So I tried it. And then since then, it's been so useful. Useful. Detox, just don't touch it for 5 days. Delete the app if that is something that you need. But I didn't obviously need to do that. But, just stop using it for 5 or 6 days and then see how you feel. Do you have the itch? Or are you okay? And are you relaxed? Are you doing something else? And are you happy doing that? Other thing. And so it's important that we examine and be conscious, as you said, Peter. So thank you for bringing that to our attention. It's amazing. I like how you described it. And I love that you also, said that there's so many benefits from social media. We can take the benefits, and we don't have to indulge in anything that is not serving us. Definitely. Yeah. Most definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, like, if we don't have social media, like what Peter said, how are we going to be here today?
Yeah.
And also, you speak to your parents is it California? Did you say? Colorado. Because you can do FaceTime and everything. I could talk to my father, my aged father, my in-laws back now as if they're in my bedroom when we talk. So there's benefit. And I think, to be conscious is what is really, really important. And it breaks my heart when you're saying that even some parents do this, addicted to it. It's crazy. If a parent is addicted and they're using social media sillily, that means they're kind of hopeless. I'm sorry to say, it's a bit harsh. Because if you're doing homeschooling, you have family, you have this, you have dog, you have cats. I've been with my chicken today for like an hour. I have my programs. Why are you addicted on social media if you have another life? You don't have any life if you're doing that. So be very careful. And because those little kids that you're bringing up, they're looking at you. My birthday was so massive that I cannot respond to people one day. It took me 3 days, Peter, to respond to everybody. So I'm taking one day at a time. But can I say something? The very first day I was doing it, I was on the phone for 2 hours. Believe it or not. My husband looked at me and said, are you going to finish? I'm like, no, fear of missing out. A lot of people have already sent something. Can I respond to them? And even then, I spread it over 3 days to respond to all my people, to just appreciate them. So I am very conscious what I do. I mean, I was on the phone for 2 hours and my husband thought that was eternity. That means I'm not on my phone all the time. I'm only there for a purpose. When I need to be, I'm there. If I'm not supposed to be, I don't do. Initially, I was on the Facebook before, like you wake up, you do your morning prayers, and then you reach your phone. I stopped that for many years now, many years, like over a year. Even during COVID, I don't wake up and then, straight away grab the phone. That's the problem. If that's what you're doing, you got a problem. You know,
Yeah.
and I sell on social media, but I just want to say, importantly, be conscious and don't you be, be what's the word when you are using something, abusing it, or you're using something, uh, you
They
know,
could just be just addicted.
yeah, you need help. Be conscious of it. You cannot be. And we've heard from Peter. Now, there's benefits, and like he said, the blockchain is going there, and our government are probably coming on it. We want to put your eye down. What are they doing? It's want to put your eye down. And if I don't understand all the terminology on the blockchain, I did the barter system before, but it died very quickly, the barter system. Now is the Bitcoin. And Australian government is on it. Apparently, you're paying tax on it now if you buy. Before it was illegal. Now you can, but you pay tax. So God knows where we're going. This thing is where the whole social media is going. And if you're not there, then you don't know what is happening. Not the fear of missing out, but you just have to be cognizant of what is happening in your environment. But we say thank you so much, Peter, for joining us today. We do appreciate it. I can see that there's more that you want to talk to us about, but a bit deeper. So maybe we're going to bring you in, like not social media. You tell us what it is, where we're going in this world.
Happy to join you anytime. Thank you so much for having me. Lovely ladies. Good to see you.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you so much.
Thanks for your time. And we're going to be talking to you now about that marketing, critique. How are we going to market now that we're going on Channel 31? Absolutely. Peter, that's another one for you. Monday, 12:30, we're on Channel 31, so you find yourself there. We gave you a disclaimer, and you already told us it's okay to be there.
Yes, everyone, Peter is doing my website, so wait for something amazing to come.
Heidi is doing our website. Something is coming, so yeah, don't miss out, guys. Something is coming. Thank you so much, Peter.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Heidi.
It's been an awesome moment with Peter. So if you're joining us, we got Peter Venero on the show, talking to us about social media, the pros and the cons. I appreciate you, Peter.
Yeah.
Thank you, Peter. Good night.
Next week, he knows our role.
Weekend.
See you next week, guys.
See you.